After everything that we had to deal with last season, we managed to win the Premier League. And that meant that we got the 100 points for doing that, plus a bonus of 50 points for doing that 2 years in advance. And so this season, if we can win the Premier League again, retain the title, that will be worth another 100 points, and we will get another bonus of 50 points, which will take us up to a total of 525 points for the save. And that means we will be well on course, and we will only need to win the treble in the next 6 years in order to complete the save. But I'm not expecting things to get any easier this season, and it's got worse during pre-season. Let's go and kick some balls. Hello and welcome back to Norwich, part 39, season 6, in the Ferguson save, set in the future. And having won the Premier League last season, 2 years in advance, that puts us in a very good position in terms of our points tally in the save. And having won the Premier League last season, that puts us in a very nice position, and we have now 375 points. And if we can retain the title this season, that will give us another 150 points, and we will be very much on course with a total of 525 points to complete the save in good time. We will only need to win the treble in the next 6 seasons. And today we will be playing our opening game in the 6th season in the Premier League. We will be at home to Blackburn, and we need to win that game. They are a weaker team than we are. We need to win it to make sure that we get off to a very good start. But pre-season has been beset with problems, and we have had major issues with which we've had to deal with. And we are short of players as we come into the opening game of the Premier League. But I remain optimistic that we've possibly overcome that problem that we had. It hasn't been as busy as I anticipated in the transfer window, but a couple of players have left, and we've brought in a couple of players as well. And it is likely that there will be further movement as we move into the last 3 weeks of the transfer window. But before we go into what has been happening, if you are brand new to the channel and you like FM content and you love to see people suffer playing this game, why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, and help us to support the very worthwhile cause you can see scrolling up above. This channel has been set up to support the British Heart Foundation. But let's begin with a quick review of that amazing season that we had last season. And somehow it was quite an amazing season. And in terms of the save, it got us 150 points, which takes us to 275 points. And in terms of the new arrivals, Nick Prescott came in from Manchester City as a backup goalkeeper. He played 13 times and he had an average rating of 7.24. I wonder what that tells me about Götz's future. And then Plantier, who came in from Leeds for £20 million, had an average rating of 7.12, did very well for his first season. And Henry Flores, who was, I knew, going to be a good player, came in from Osasuna, and he had 44 appearances, 3 goals, 7 assists, and an average rating of 7.07. And the board can feel very, very good about him. I think he was an excellent signing. And in terms of the results, we were predicted to finish mid-table. We actually won the league, and of course the board are very, very pleased. We won it just about on goal difference from Chelsea, but that's good enough for me. We got off to a very auspicious start, but it got better. And as we went through the season, unlike the season before where we fell badly away, we didn't do that this time. I did do a little bit more endurance training at the beginning of the season, and maybe that had something to do with it. But we finished the season pretty strong, and in the end, it was an excellent season in the league. In the Champions League, we still have yet to make a mark on that, and we were knocked out in the round of 16 by AC Milan in that very, very bizarre way, where we only actually in the second leg had one player on the subs bench. And the FA Cup, well, we went all the way and won the FA Cup. We beat Stoke City in the final by 3-0. And in the Carabao Cup, again, it was an excellent season. We won the Carabao Cup, going all the way, beating Manchester City in the final, and then beating Tottenham by 1-0 in the final. What an excellent season it was. 3 trophies, and you can't do much better than that, although we would like to add the Champions League to it. In terms of moments to remember for the fans, we had a 7-0 victory against Cheltenham in the FA Cup. Should have won that and did. And then the best result for me of all was the 6-0 thrashing of Manchester United in the Premier League in January. And the goal of the season was by Kitambala against Real Sociedad. And I'm not quite sure, I don't remember this one. Kamara obviously with the ball, Kitambala from distance, fine finish. A worthy goal of the season, I would think. We didn't see many finishes better than that. Wilden in the FA Cup final maybe, but that was a glorious finish. Financially, we stayed the same in terms of reputation, but again, broadcast revenue was down. No matter how well we do, that always seems to go down, but everything else remains green and remains good financially. There were rumours of a takeover, but as yet nothing has happened with regard to that. Shirt sales, we sold 560,000, and top of the pile was Hossoya, then Wilden, Fortes, Matic and Puk made up the top 5. And in terms of how we've lined up, for the first time in 5 years, we have got all green here, and every player had an average rating above 7. A particularly good season, and we have done extremely well. The only player missing from this starting 11, which I'm not going to argue with, is Kitambala. And then on to the accolades. There were no accolades for me last season, unfortunately, despite everything that we completed. Lewis Wilden was the fans' player of the year. He's now 31 years old. We have to be very careful. He's not going to be around for much longer. And then Jay Neal was the young player of the season. The signing of the season, well, the fans believe, was Nick Prescott, the goalkeeper. Prince Kitambala, he had the goal of the season, as we saw. Lewis Wilden was the top goal scorer. He scored 45 goals this season. That's the best he's done yet. Hossoya, most assists with 17. And then Lewis Wilden, 14 Player of the Match awards. Lewis Wilden had the highest rating, and Reguan was the best pass completion. And in terms of competition awards, Lewis Wilden was the English Footballer of the Year for the second time, and the English Players' Player of the Year for the second time. And he also was the Premier League top goal scorer for the third time. Lewis Wilden scored the most league goals by a player in the match, getting 5 in one of the games this season. And then Gotts completed the most clean sheets by a player in a season with 23. We've defended extremely well this year. Most Player of the Match awards in a season now belongs to Lewis Wilden, having got 14. Reguan with the worst discipline award. He has 20 yellow cards this season, and that's something he probably needs to work on. And most league goals by a player ever is by Lewis Wilden, and he currently now has 192 goals for Norwich. That's going to be difficult to beat, and he still has probably 2 more seasons to add to that. And this year it was history in the making, despite the fact that I was not feeling that great at the end of last season. We have done extremely well. We've picked up the Premier League, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. In terms of the save, I would like to retain the title and add the Champions League to it. Whether we can do that, who knows. But it was a very, very good season. And the sharp-eyed amongst you will have noticed that in the season review I was wearing a different colour shirt. I completely forgot what colour shirt I wore when I did the season review. That's because I'm old, and I think I'm allowed to get away with a simple error or two like that. My memory is not what it was. And as you will all be thinking, if we won the Premier League, we will have played in the Community Shield. And we played in the Community Shield against Chelsea. And this is what happened. And so the new season is about to begin, and the month of August is not going to be an easy time. And we will play Blackburn at home, but then we'll have 2 away games, one against Leeds, one against Arsenal, before we play against Manchester City at home. So it is not going to be the easiest of starts. And it wasn't the easiest of pre-seasons either, because at one point we had all 5 of our fullbacks injured. We still only have one fullback who can play on the right, but at least now we have Plantier back, or at least coming back to fitness, and he will be able to join McSweeney and rotate on the left. We still have both other fullbacks, Muntian and John Allen, who are both injured. John Allen is expected back to training within about 5 days, and Muntian is still going to be out for around about 3 weeks, pretty much for the whole of August. So we played through pre-season without a fullback. Now I'm wondering if the game is telling me you don't have enough fullbacks, and I possibly still need to bring in a left back who can support McSweeney and Plantier on the left. There are also several other players who could still leave. Gotts is still wanted. McSweeney is wanted, but he's not going anywhere. Jay Neal is wanted, and I did turn down a bid for Jay Neal, and I'm wondering if that was the right decision. We got an offer straight up of £45 million for him, which I rejected. I'm wondering if I made the right decision there. And Matic is also wanted. Matic would be a problem because that would leave me with only 2 players on the right wing, and you know what FM will do if you are short of players in one of those positions. So if Matic leaves, I will certainly have to try and fill that gap on the right, and there are very few players available in that position. And in the transfer window, there have been a couple of players who have left us, and the first one to go out was Hossoya. Hossoya wanted to leave, and we couldn't stop him leaving, and in the end Newcastle came in with a bid of 48.5 million, and he had to go. We couldn't stop him. He wanted to go. End of story. And then the next player to leave was Domitrio Fortes, one of our star players in midfield. He also wanted to leave, and so he went to Tottenham for 51 million, rising to 58 million. It was a shame to lose him, but if they want to leave, there's nothing I could do to stop him. And then in terms of players that we have brought in, the first one to come in was Jose Juan Ibarran. This was a transfer that we arranged prior to the beginning of the season. He came in from Newcastle, and he is a very, very good central midfielder. He's a wonder kid. I hope that he's going to develop very nicely. He's got brilliant mentals for his age, very good physicals, and he's quite a good technical player as well. He has a 4-star potential. I think he could even develop beyond that. He's 20 years of age, and I think he's going to be one of the best signings we've completed since we began the save. Very, very good player. And then we brought in Saul Thomas from Bayer Leverkusen for 19 million, rising to 22.5 million. He is a right winger. He can also play in central midfield or attacking mid, but we needed to find a new right winger. He's not going to set the world on fire, I think. He's a decent player, but he's not going to be world class ever. He's 25 years old now, but I'm hoping that he will not let us down as we go into this season. And we signed a player recommended by the director of football, Mohamed Rahim. He's come in on loan from Manchester City. He's a central defender and he looks very good. He's actually 24 years old, so I'm surprised we were able to get him on loan. He has very good physicals, he's got very good mentals, and technically he has good tackling, he has good marking, and he's pretty decent in the air as well. So hopefully he will come in and solidify the defence. We already have good central defenders, and I'm hoping that he is going to just add to that and make us much more defensively solid. And we brought in a youngster, Paco Capdevila. He came in from Malaga for £3.5 million, rising to £5 million. He's very young. He's an attacking mid. He can play on the right or in the centre. He now currently has a value of 26 million to 32 million. He's got a lot of development to do. He's just 18 years old, but his attributes are very good for an 18-year-old. We've let him go back out on loan to Malaga to continue his development, so he's not going to feature this year, but I think he's definitely one for the next 2 or 3 years. And our last signing of this window so far is Joan Aranda. He's come in from Manchester City for 42 million. He is not a youngster. He's 27 years old, but I think he is a very good player. He's an elite attacking midfielder. He's got everything I want from Mentos, except for bravery, but I'm not too worried about that for a winger. He's got very good physicals, although he does lack a little acceleration, but he's got great technique, great passing, good first touch, good dribbling, good crossing. I think he is going to be another excellent signing, and he can play as an attacking mid or a forward as well. I think that is a very good signing for the money. We are still waiting on one player to come in. We are awaiting Martin Mracek, who is currently considering a contract. He is also a defensive midfielder. He can play also as a centre mid, and so I think he's going to be a very good signing. He looks like he's got tremendous mentals. He's got very good physicals, and he has good first touch and technique, and he can pass the ball and has great vision and flair. He is, to me, looks to be a very good signing, and I'm hoping that the contract for him will be accepted and that he will come in very shortly. He's been sitting on that contract for a little while now, and I'd like to see him coming in. And so once that 30 million is taken out of our transfer budget, we will have nothing left in the transfer budget, and the wage budget is pretty much up to where it needs to be. Matic is still likely to leave, and if he leaves, we do have targets that we can bring in should we get the money in for him. But that is for the future. Right now, we need to worry about Blackburn, and we need to get off to a very, very good start today with the fixtures that we have coming up. So, without much further ado, let's go and kick some balls. And so the team for the opening game of Season 6 is Gots in goal, with Kamara, Reguan, Bonilla, McSweeney at the back. Ibran, Flores and Zapropoulos in midfield, with Pook, Neal and Wilden, the triumvirate up front, starting the season. And so I'm hoping, although the team don't look very confident, I am hoping that we will make a very good start to the season. This is a game we should be winning, and I'm going to tell the team that we need to go out there, do well. We want good performances all over the pitch. We have a team that's capable of doing it. Let's hope we're going to do it. It's the opening game of Season 6, and we do have a free kick, and it is going to be Zapropoulos over the free kick. Can we get a free kick right at the beginning of the season? And Zapropoulos has hit the crossbar, and it's Norwich 0, Blackburn 0. We've had the better of the exchanges in the early minutes, and let's hope we can build on that. But once again, we are not getting shots on target, which is always a worry. Blackburn do have a free kick now. We need to be very good defensively. I think that is our strength this year, is our defence. And I hope I haven't done the commentator's curse here, as Blackburn are looking to bring it forward. We are very good in defence. We've brought in good players in defence, and hopefully we will do very well in defence, as Blackburn suddenly seem to be the best team in the world. We're not making a very good start against a very weak team, and I'm not too happy at the moment. I know this game is not going to make it easy for me this season, but we really should be beating teams like Blackburn, and I don't know why I have so much trouble beating teams like Blackburn. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can beat teams like Manchester United, Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal without any problem at all. But give me a team that are much weaker than we are, then we cannot seem to beat them. And I need to shout at the team and demand more from them. This is not good enough. And in fact, what I'm going to do is probably push the lines up as well. We're not playing well enough. We need to be much better than what we're doing, and we need to put pressure on them, and we're going to try and do just that. And we're going to push our lines right up into their face and try and really pressurize them. I decided to play with a standard line because so many of these teams are catching us out with balls over the top, and Zaprapoulis has now lost the ball. It's just not looking very good at all. But here, Zaprapoulis has won it back. Finds Flores. Flores has lost the ball now. This is really poor. It's a very poor start to the season. And we have won the ball. And Wilden is in the clear. Wilden is in space. Wilden can score. Wilden has scored. Wilden has got us off to a good start. But I'm not really happy with what I'm seeing against Blackburn. Our passing is poor. We are not in control of things as I would like to be, and it looks very, very disorganised out there at the moment. It was a good tackle by Zaprapoulis, and once Wilden was in the clear, he was always favourite to score. He is actually the favourite to be the top goal scorer in the Premier League this season, and he has recently had one England cap as well, and so he's getting the recognition that he deserves. He's a 30-plus goals for us every season, and last season's haul of 46, I think it was a magnificent achievement from him. But Blackburn are just outplaying us at the moment, and I'm not too happy at all. And I think I'm going to have to come off the press because they're just playing around us. And they do have a chance. They are going to score, and they've just put it past the post. So I'm actually going to come off the press. I'm not happy with how we're playing, and I think we'll just come off the press a little bit because they're just running around us. We're not the most aggressive team, and maybe that's something I need to consider, is that we can't press teams, that we need to come off the press, and I think this isn't good enough. It's unacceptable, and I don't care if Flores is unhappy. We need to be doing a lot better than this, and at the moment it's only 1-0 against a team, Blackburn, who are favourites to be relegated this season. And although we've dominated the match, scored the only goal, it's just simply not good enough. I think I'm going to go and make some changes now. And so we have made some changes. Pook was having an absolutely dreadful game. McSweeney at left back was having an absolute shocker. Plantier has come on. He's not that fit at the moment, but he could probably manage 30 minutes. And there's a ball over the top, and Arunda, who's just come on for Pook, who was having a nightmare, he's looking to work it down the left, manages to find the most absurd pass all the way back. And here is Flores. Flores finds Belmonte. We've had the ball taken off us again. This is not good enough, but Bonilla has tidied up. Finds Plantier. Plantier to Flores. Flores to Wilden. Wilden with a ball inside to Kitambala. Kitambala with a chance, and he's made it 2-0. And although we are winning this game 2-0, I'm not very pleased by the way we look. In terms of our passing, it does look to me like our passing needs some work, and we're not finding our targets. Wilden did very well. Lovely pass to Kitambala. Kitambala just put it into the corner. It's now 2-0. It's a good start, but there are things going on the pitch that I am not looking very happy with. And so it is a decent start, I'd say, to the season. We just need to defend very well now. I'm going to come back to a more positive rather than attacking style. We don't need to keep pressing anymore. We're 2-0 up. We need to be solid at the back. And as I said, we are very good defensively. We just, I think, need to sort our passing out, and then this will be a very good team this season. It's a good start. We've won our first game. Nice work, everyone. I'm not going to be too hard on them. I just maybe need to come off the tempo in terms of passing for a while. They didn't look like they were passing very well. The lack of aggression that we have was showing. It wasn't the best performance, but it was a winning performance. And so I will play now through the rest of the month of August, and we'll come back for Burnley and Aston Villa. There will probably be some Champions League put in here somewhere, so we'll work it out after the month of September has closed. And that's it for this episode. If you are brand new to the channel, why not subscribe, like, watch, comment, help the channel to grow, help us to support the very worthwhile cause that you can see above. We are here to support the British Heart Foundation. And so there is still a lot of work to do in the transfer window. I'm fairly content at the moment, and we have made a winning start. But will that continue with the 3 fixtures that we've got coming? Who knows? All that remains to be said now. Stay safe, everyone. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.